Since the Cold War began, the CIA had been unable to penetrate the Soviet bloc far enough to discover just how immediate the Soviet threat was. Then, in 1954, President Eisenhower approved a top-secret plan to develop an airplane capable of flying across the Soviet Union, north to south, without refueling. The plane, designated U-2, would eventually fly at 70 to 80,000 feet, higher than Soviet missiles could then reach. It was outfitted with a high-resolution camera designed by the Polaroid Corporation. In order to maintain utmost secrecy, responsibility for developing and operating the U-2 was given not to the Air Force, but to the CIA.
Eisenhower did not trust the military to be secure. And it's hard to imagine, but he's the guy who picked CIA to be in charge of the U-2, the SR-71, and the Corona satellite. It's the kind of thing that the military could have done, I think, and probably should have done. But Eisenhower wanted security, and he thought the only way to do it was to let CIA run the thing.
The CIA estimated they could safely fly the U-2 over Russia for 2 years before the Russians would be able to detect the plane and shoot it down. But it's now clear that the Soviets tracked the first flight and every one after that.
Khrushchev knew it was overflying Russia at 80,000 feet. We had announced that the height that plane could fly was 65,000 feet. It was flying at 80,000 feet because Khrushchev's most powerful missile would only go to 65,000 feet. So here was this plane flying overhead, his missiles unable to reach it, and he was furious, fit to be tied.
The U-2 flights gave the CIA the comprehensive look inside the Soviet Union they'd wanted for 10 years. In approximately 24 flights over a 2-year period, the U-2 pinpointed Soviet air bases, allowing the U.S. Air Force not only to count bombers and missiles, but to specifically target these sites. But the Americans did not hold their advantage for long. In 1957, the Russians stunned the West with 2 demonstrations of technological strength. In August, they successfully fired their first long-range intercontinental missile, and 2 months later launched Sputnik, the first satellite into space. It was immediately apparent to the CIA that a country capable of launching a rocket into space was more than capable of shooting down the U-2. The flights were halted temporarily. The U-2 flew only sporadically over the next 3 years.